Hello, folks out there. How are you doing? I hope you're doing fantastic. I really do. I am. That's for sure. A lot of crazy things going on. You know, pray for Hawaii over there. You got what I feel was crazy is there's a lot of rhetoric. There's a lot of things going on. For me, I'm always looking at, perspectives of, you got how I always say they because it's occultists like they're always out to get us. They're always, they're trying to dumb us down, they're trying to fatten us up, they're trying to, kill us early. You know what I mean? Like, it's happening. It's just, you can just see it out there, okay? And that's why Jesus Christ means so much to me and God, because we are the victor. You know what I mean? And all we can do is pray that we overcome their evil. And who knows? But a lot of people are talking about that. And it's sad. It's devastating. I mean, you got a lot of small businesses over there in Lahaina, being burned up. You got other people, you look at it as order out of chaos. So, destroy it, provide a solution. Nobody ever wants to look at the negative. You always want to pray for the people. And yeah, and you want to look at, you don't want to look at certain people and be like, oh, they would never do this, like they would never plan this. And I'm not saying those wildfires are planned. Just looking at the Heart Project. There's so much stuff you just need to delve down, and that you can, and you just take it with a grain of salt, of course. I was saying earlier, I don't like to look at all the negatives, but I do to keep myself bolstered in my armor. You know what I mean? Because you have to look at it. You look at history, and then you it transpires to the current events, and then you look at certain people, groups, right, that kind of play certain roles. It even stems back to, like, people would think, like, the Jesuits, that they are perhaps the man behind the curtain, and they're a direct descendant from the Templars. The Templars were, an army for Roman Catholic. And they followed not so biblical ideas. So when you stem to the Sadducees and Pharisees, what they try to hide, Jesus and what he did, you know what I mean? Like, they wanted they wanted everyone to be dumbed down in faith. They didn't want people to follow Jesus Christ and God. We can't just eradicate this, And so what do they want to do? They want to dumb people down. They want to show the convoluted way, so you can worship idolatry, idols, religions, Yeah, it's crazy that the Lahaina church, like, that didn't even get touched. Like, that's pretty nuts. Like that, there's videos out there. Very, very crazy how that didn't get touched. It was a Catholic church, I believe, too. I don't know. You got a lot of stuff going on, and all this tumultuous behaviors and events, and you know, it's just one of those things. Like, you know, people keep pushing the buttons to see what can really happen. And I wouldn't want to push God's buttons. I wouldn't really want to do all that, you know? But, you know, you pray for Hawaii for sure. You pray for the people that are, you know, starving because they're not getting provisions. And it's just really, you know, I don't know. It's just very strange how that kind of, you know, happened. I don't know. All we could do is pray for these evil people who, you know, I don't know. Like I said, it's my opinion. I'm not saying that this was caused, but a lot of things just don't really add up. And there's a lot of videos out there. A lot of articles. It's just, you know. And then people ask, why? Why would they do? Why? You know, the climate change and all that. But, you know, what's nuts is that these next set of trumpets in the angel, we got the 5th, 6th, and 7th, right? So we got the woes. So here's the woes. And so I figured I'd just break this up. You know, I'll just read the 5th angel, then I'll break it up. I'll do the 6th. You know, and then finish out, and then we'll go into the angel with the little scroll. It's a little bit to unpack, you know. So I didn't want to like just go off the rip and just read it all. But let's just get into it, folks. You ready for this?
Amen.
Yeah, you are. I'm Daniel. This is the Emmanuel Podcast. Let's go. And the 5th angel blew his trumpet, and I saw a star that had fallen from heaven to earth, and he was given the key to the shaft of the bottomless pit. He opened the shaft of the bottomless pit, and from the shaft rose smoke like the smoke of a great furnace. And the sun and the air were darkened with the smoke from the shaft. Then from the smoke came locusts. We all don't love the locusts, right? Destroying crops out west, you know, and you know they're a burden right now. Anyways, they just decimate crops. I mean, decimate. Locusts. Phew. Then from the smoke came locusts on the earth, and they were given authority like the authority of scorpions of the earth. They were told not to damage the grass of the earth or any green growth or any tree, but only those people. Oh man, you ready for this? Who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. That's pretty intense. I'll read that again. They were told not to damage the grass of the earth or any green growth of any tree, but only those people who do not have the seal of God on their foreheads. I'm telling you, you get these smart city governances, you know, they wanna, you know, govern, watch you. They already do, but they want to take God and Jesus out of everything. I mean, hell, look at Porsche. Porsche just had their 911 ST, whatever it was. I can't. Who cares? they did like an ad or whatever, right? So you got the Church of Christ, the statue. Rio de Janeiro, I want to say. Brazil. What is that called? Christ the Redeemer. And, in Rio de Janeiro. So anyways, they did like this ad, and, well, what did they do? Like you could tell, they took out the Christ the Redeemer statue of the ad. Like, why? This is what I'm saying. Christians have been mocked for so many years, but you can't mock Muslims, you can't mock Muhammad, you can't mock anything else. You can't mock anything else, but you can mock Christianity. You can mock that, but you can't mock anything else. Jesus is always getting scoffed at. And it's whatever. Because for you who loves him, you're going to get hated because he was hated first, right? So keep that faith up for Jesus Christ, folks. You know what I mean? Like, keep that faith. Don't ever let it die. It's a beautiful thing when you're not following. It's a beautiful thing when you find Jesus Christ on your own and you have people that have Jesus Christ. So I'm going to pray for Porsche. Pray for all these people who want these idolatry and who think you're going to offend, you know what I mean? And it's really outlandish. It's like they think they're not going to get called out for it. It cracks me up. It's like they want Jesus Christ. Let's rephrase that. They always wanted Jesus Christ out of the picture. So they just gave these false gods, these false idols for everyone to go to and marvel over, right? So, yeah, it's just a complete joke. But anyways, good job, Porsche. We didn't mean to. Yeah, right, okay. Good job on the editing team. So, anyways. The seal of God on their foreheads. Wow. So they were allowed to torture them for 5 months, but not to kill them. And their torture was like the torture of a scorpion when it stings someone. So in those days, people will seek death, but they will not find it. They will long to die, but death will flee from them. Isn't that crazy? Because think about it. You got people now these days, right? They seek death. They long to die. They just want to be off this earth. They're like, I can't do it anymore. It's because they lose faith. It's crazy because there's an article and there's a guy over there. And look, I understand it's devastation. You lose everything. It's crazy. A fire decimated you. I understand. It's horrible. But why lose the faith in God? It's what they want. They want you to lose faith in God so you can worship their false idol, their antichrist. It's disgusting. But I just, in the tough times, you're going to get through it. You are an individual. God made you as the center of the universe, not this sun that's in the center of the universe. No, God made you as the center of the universe. You are the center. We are individuals. We're not the same. Sometimes we could think alike. We could feel, whatever. That's okay. But we are not the same. Everyone is individually purposed on this earth, and when you find it, you go with it. And as long as you have God and Jesus in your life, you are going to excel. But it's when you lose faith, then what? You fall back into a trap of the non-belief. When things get tough, things are made to get tough, but God knows that He made you born because you can handle it. You can handle it. You think you can't handle it, but you can handle it. Therefore, you can't lose the faith in God. in Jesus Christ, who died for you. God made you individually from that other person next to you. Different purposes, different wills, different feels in life. You were made to love. You're made to love yourself. You're made to love God and Jesus and the people that you hold dear in your heart, and not a fabricated love from people who don't care. And it stems back in the Old Testament where people were losing faith. They'd be like, oh, yeah, riding on that God train, and then boom, they fall right off. Because endurance was not happening, because it was too tough. Times are tough, but don't ever lose your faith in God and Jesus. Because they have you, ultimately. They got your back more than anyone else in your life. So people long to die, but death will flee from them. In appearance, the locusts were like horses equipped for battle. On their heads were what looked like crowns of gold. Their faces were like human faces. Their hair like women's hair. And their teeth like lions' teeth. They had scales like iron breastplates. And the noise of their wings was like the noise of many chariots with horses rushing into battle. They have tails like scorpions with stingers, and in their tails is their power to harm people for 5 months. They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. And who do you think that is? And his name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek he is called Apollyon. Come on, folks. They have as king over them the angel of the bottomless pit. Right? Come on now. It stems to the whole Apollo worship, the sun worship thing, the heliocentric model. Everyone's, the whole sun worship, the Jesuits, the Templars, everyone and their mother. It goes to Egypt, Book of Dead, all that. They're all like sun worshipers, all, and even you can see it now. The Apollo is the son of Zeus and Leto, right? He's a great healer. So Apollo, he attacked the Greeks with the plague, but he can heal anyone except those he, killed himself. So Apollo he's also the healer of the spirit world. So he's like, he was also, he was like a prophetic deity of Delphi. So you got the priestess, Pythia, so she, they, channel his divinations, right, of the future. And this is like people who traveled all throughout the world just to learn their fate. Apollo, he's like a liar, right? So he's got Lyre. He possessed that, and so he was often accompanied by the 9 muses, who were also inspiring art and music, and so he was a masterful musician. Well, how you doing, Lucifer? I don't know. He's like one of the charismatic gods, but he had many lovers, right? But both male and female. So he was so bright, right? So overshadowed Helios, the sun god. But whoops, then he became known as the sun god in his own right. But he's the god of music, right? We're gonna go with the little g on that bad boy. Apollo, the sun god, and that's what they love to worship. that similarly, you got Artemis, and she's worshipped as a moon goddess. So you got the god Helios and Sol. So they're like the ball of light that's in the sky. See, you gotta say this is an exalting. Lucifer wanted to exalt himself over God. This is all this is. It's always to exalt. That's what the Tower of Babel. They try to build it. Come on. To exalt over God. Sorry, I think that ride's going to be cut short. So Helios is the Greek word for sun. And then you got Sol, Latin, solar. And you got Lunas, Latin for moon. It's just all these things. So the Romans, basically, all they did was just copy the cosmology from the Greeks, along with the rest of the mythology, right? So you got the Greek Apollyon. You got Apollyon in here. What we just read. And then, but it's, you got Apollyon, and Artemis, known to the Romans as Apollo and Diana. So they were the most important gods of the, who were called the 12 Olympians. I like to lowercase that G, by the way. It's just, it's all too convolute. How the government hijacked education back in the day. Like, just straight up hijacked it. And just, it's a repetitious thing. Learn this, repetition, that's it. Regurgitate, repetition, they hijacked it. Pearson, all them, but just so much money got poured into those companies. It's unbelievable. The textbooks and all that. It's unbelievable how much money. Straight up hijacked. That's why when you open this book, it's a very special thing. It really is. It's very special. And the veil just drops from you. And you got the bottomless pit, and you look at it. When you look at the bottomless pit, and the star that fell becomes the minister of the devil, right? So he's got all these powers of hell against the churches of Christ. So the pit opens, you got the smoke, right? Blinds the men of his light and knowledge. Whoops. Secret societies, light and knowledge, blinding, putting out light and knowledge. And what is it? Ultimately, it's ignorance and error. So now you got these locusts, the devil's adversaries. You got the the devil's army. So they got this idolatry, cruelty. They're sent for 5 months to torture. But the trees and the grass, the true believers. Come on now, right? The trees and the grass, the true believers, whether you are a young soul, old, whatever, you are not to be touched. And that's all that matters. But all this convoluting, infectious of our souls are being robbed on a daily, even now more so. And in the future, I can only imagine So the locusts, they were not granted power to hurt those who had the seal of God. And by God's grace will keep us believers, folks, from this devastating factor. But the power, you got to think about it, is only limited. 5 months, I mean, it's limited. But it's going to be it's calamitous. It's a lot. The clamor is going to be ridiculous. You know, you got the pestilence. You got people that want to deceive and to knock out Christianity. And that bright star, is Jesus Christ, but they like to invert things. And you got once a bright star shone among the morning stars, the sin fell from heaven. You got Lucifer, the fall of Lucifer, son of the morning, as a lightning from heaven. Right? Luke said that. It's the power of the key, opening and shutting it, saving the people or casting them into it. And if we just believe, you will be untouched. First woe is past. There are still 2 woes to come. The first woe is past. 2 to come. Isn't that correct? Like, they have as a king over them the angel of the bottomless pit, Abaddon. I mean, they have hair like women's hair, and their teeth are like lions' teeth. It's intense. But they were told not to damage the grass of the earth or the green growth of any tree. That's our faith, folks. If you just continue to have faith in turmoil and always keep God and Jesus in your heart and be grateful every day, of course we're going to experience woes. It's inevitable. But if you recognize that, and you recognize that your strength is internal. And when you have God and Jesus, your strength is inevitably eternal. I mean, it's amazing because He created you to handle the woes of this earth. You weren't born not to handle it. People think they can't handle it. And that's the problem, because you got all these convoluted paths, and it's disgusting because all it leads is to destruction, and it really does. Heard about that today. But all we could do is pray. But don't ever lose faith because you're experiencing woes. Yeah, you lost everything. You might have lost everything. You lose relationship. You lose whatever you've lost in your life. Think about Jesus Christ, who gave up His life for us. Our woes are minuscule. If we get above in our brain, above the woe, you're going to get past it. the negativity, you're not going to get past it. But if you find the hope inside the destruction, which they all are all about in creating chaos, whatever your woe is, believe me, the woes are going to get worse, and the judgment is going to be scary. Things are happening now. It's only going to get worse. But you know what? We are going to get above that woe. You know why, folks? Because you're blessed. And I want you to stay blessed, because you are. When you have Jesus Christ and God in you, that seal is within you. And you just carry that, and you will overcome any woe in this life. There's always the victor mentality that you have to keep. And the woes will be inevitably surpassed, because you know why? You never turned your back on God and Jesus. And guess what, folks? The beauty of this, not worldly, but the beauty of this right here, right now, and what you need to carry day in and day out right now, is having God and Jesus within you to get past the woes that are to come. So keep your ears open, your heart ready, your armor ready, because it's getting wicked, folks, and we need to take on the wickedness. And we can, because God made you to handle it. We can handle day-to-day woes. We can handle anything. We can handle Satan's army. Folks, you're amazing, and I hope you stay blessed, because you are, and you're amazing. Keep your faith up, and that's all that matters. And we will get through these woes, because God and Jesus are everything, folks. And you are too. I'm Daniel, and this is the Emmanuel Podcast.